welcome back to Needle and Mallet. So a couple weeks ago I was asked to help with a crochet class at the local high school, and while I was doing that I thought what a great time to make a video series on crochet basics. So this is the first video in that series, and I will be covering how to chain and how to do single crochet with 3 different pattern textures. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you find this helpful, and I hope it inspires you to pick up a hook and some yarn. Alright, well, so for some basic tools for crochet, you will need a crochet hook. This one happens to be it's a Susan Bates, and it's a size 6 or G it says. So it's a pretty standard size, and it works well with the type of yarn that we're going to be using. We are going to be using it's cotton yarn. It's a worsted weight, or like a 4-ply, and it's available almost anywhere, easy to get, and it works really well for beginners. So another optional tool to have on hand is a safety pin, or even if you want to go super fancy, then a safety pin style stitch marker, like one of these. Just makes it handy to put on your project for when you need a break or want to just put it away for the day and pick it up later. So that's just something optional. You don't have to have it. I didn't use one for years, but they come in handy now, especially when I have multiple projects going on, because I get bored and want to move on and do different things. So to start off with your project, whatever you want to do, you want to tie a slip knot and leave about this much tail for weaving in at the end. To tie a slip knot, you basically are just going to wrap it, and then you are going to take the tail end and you are just going to pull up a loop just like this, and you can pull more out or tighten it up. It's called a slip knot because it slips out just like that. So that is, again, I just wrap it around my finger and then just slip it in. So for holding your hook, I've always held my hook this way with an overhand hold. Every book I've ever looked at has you hold it like a pencil. I have no control holding it this way, so I choose not to hold it that way. I choose to do an overhand grip. So for starting out, we're gonna put our hook in that loop, and we're gonna tighten it up. This needs to be able to slide freely. If it's too loose, it will be loosey-goosey, and if it's too tight, you will not be able to pull thread through. So my working yarn is in this hand, my tail's in this one, and what we're going to do first is we're going to just chain. And all we do for chain is that we yarn over and you just pull through. And I'll pick it up with the hook. So basically yarn over with the hook, and I'm going to turn my hook downward and I'm going to pull through. Once you get a couple chains on there, it gets easier to hold on to, and you can just keep on going. This is the very first basic step. I'll hold this closer to the camera. Maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. So, got about $16, $17, $18, 19. That's okay, I dropped that stitch all the time. 20. Now, what I like to do is down here at the bottom, let's see if I can show you this. I like to slide this up, and I don't count that first chain. This helps lock this in. That way it doesn't fall apart later. It's not something that I've seen anybody else do. It's something I do personally. So if you don't do it, it's okay. It's just something I do. All right, so we have 20 on here. To turn the corner or to start our foundation row, I am just going to chain one more. And then see where my thumb is right there? I'm going to do a single crochet. So I'm going to insert the hook in. I'm going to pull up a loop. I have 2 loops on the hook, and I'm going to yarn over again, and I'm going to pull through both of those. Here it is again. I'm going to go through that loop, pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull through both loops. So, insert in the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull through 2. And that is single crochet. This is a little tricky to hold on to when you're first starting out. So it's okay if you don't get it and it takes a couple tries. See how I'm pulling this just a little bit when I'm done? That just keeps the tension right. You don't want to pull too tight because you don't want it super tight, but at the same time, you don't want it super loose. So kind of an even tension. You will find your own tension. Your own tension and your own gauge probably won't match anybody else's. In most patterns, they'll give you a gauge like how many stitches per inch, and it's fairly easy. Sometimes you have to adjust what yarn you're using or what hook you're using, bigger or smaller, to find that gauge. But not everybody's gauge matches because everybody does it just a little bit different. My daughter and I, her projects are much tighter than mine. It's just the way she does it. You'll notice that if you're trying to do this when you're stressed, your stuff will get super, super tight. So sometimes you'll just have to find your happy medium. Alright, so we're at the end. So what we do to turn the corner and go back the other way is we just do one chain and then turn the whole thing around like this. So this is the wrong side of the work. This is the right side of the work. Alright, so that's how you do a foundation row for single crochet. So what I'm going to show you next is some different stitch patterns that you can do with that. So this one I already started. This is flat. You have a wrong side and a right side. Basically both sides look the same. When you're working with your cloth and making a fabric, it's important to mark which side is the right side and which side is your wrong side, especially if you're doing any type of garment, so you don't get confused later. So here's that stitch marker. So this is a whole lot easier to work with because I got a few rows already going. So I already chained one and turned it. So I'm going to go in the first loop, the front loop. So it's the loop that's facing me. I'm going to do that one only, all the way across. And it creates this nice flat fabric. Most garments are made with this type of fabric. I apologize if I'm not staying in frame. This is actually very difficult to do, to film this and do it at the same time. Like that. Alright, for another one, I just completed this dishcloth. And as you can see, it has a rib-like texture. It'll actually stretch a little bit. And I'll show you how I do this. This is also single crochet, but as you can see, it looks much different than the piece of fabric I just did. So this one is flat, and this one has a rib on both sides. So it is really simple to do this. It is also a lot of fun, and for dishcloths I like doing it because it just gives a little bit of grip, I think, for a little better washing. So, do I get my hook in here? Chain one, turn, and instead of going in the front loop, I'm going to go in the back loop on every single row. And on that first one, that purple one there, I go on the front loop every single row, and it makes it flat. And on this one, if I go in the back loop on every single row, it gives it a very nice rib. Just like that. That's how you do that one. Alright, the last one I'm going to show you is a very tight, dense stitch. This one is what I use for pot holders like this. It's very dense. It doesn't have much stretch, but it's very thick. And as you can tell, this is a double-sided pot holder, and I'll probably post this project later in the next couple weeks or more, since it takes me quite a long time to make these videos. Anyway, this one done practically the same way, but instead of going through the front loop only or just the back loop only, you go through both loops. It just makes a very nice compact stitch. So I chained one, I turned my fabric, I'm just going to go through both all the way across. Got my tail in there. Something that you want to try to keep out of the way is the tail, so you don't accidentally crochet the tail in there. Well, there you go. All right, well, I hope that you found this tutorial helpful, and please like and subscribe for more, and I will try to post a new tutorial in this series every week. So happy crocheting. Catch you guys next time.